Hey, how are you today? Welcome to the next edition of the Next Evolution Athletics online nutrition series. Today is going to be part 2 on protein. So I want to take a little deeper dive so you guys understand why it's so important to get an adequate amount of protein every day if you're trying to gain and get stronger. Okay, so today we're going to talk about protein synthesis versus protein breakdown or degradation, depending on how you want to talk about it. So first, let's understand a few things. You've heard the terms anabolism and catabolism thrown around. So what I'm going to talk about in a real simple term is anabolism is a state of building up, and catabolism is a state of breaking down. Okay? And really, our bodies are always in a constant state of breakdown and build up when it comes to protein. So if we're using protein all the time, we have to actually replenish that store. So really, at the end of the day, our protein net balance depends solely on synthesis minus breakdown. Now that's super important to understand because as we go through our day, depending on what we do, we go through periods of increased synthesis and increased degradation. So for example, when we work out, as we work out, our bodies are in a state of protein catabolism. We're breaking down and building up. That's post-exercise. But during the workout, we're actually in a state of anabolism where we're building up. So our bodies will flux anabolism, and then at the end, post-exercise, it starts to degrade. So we have to replenish right away, well, within a certain time frame. We'll have to replenish that protein that we've just utilized in exercise, okay? And I'm not saying degradation is bad. Degradation is actually a very important part of our body's use of protein. Usually degradation occurs with old cells that aren't as functionally stable or as useful as new cells would be. So it's kind of like sloughing off the trash and allowing us to build up with better cells, okay? So just so you have a better understanding, what we're going to do is I did a brief little chart of something that I think would help you make sense of the whole thing. So let's look at what a day would look like with 3 meals in protein synthesis and degradation in a very, very loose overview. So the solid line is actually protein synthesis. The broken line is actually breakdown or degradation. So as we eat a meal, protein synthesis increases. Well, protein degradation also increases as well. And it spikes, and then it goes down to normal levels, and then drops, and then we eat another meal, and boom, it goes up again. And then it drops, and then boom, it goes up again. The main thing that we have to understand is that this little gap is what we're looking for. The increased amount of protein versus, so the increased amount of protein synthesis versus increased protein degradation. If this gap is on the positive side, we're in a building mode. That is anabolism. Okay? Now, if it's reversed and the broken line is higher than the solid line, that's a state of catabolism. Now, it doesn't matter exactly for that one specific moment in time, but at the end of the day, it looks at the overall view and determines if we've had enough protein or not. And when we recover, it's actually when we sleep and rest and relax. That's when our recovery occurs. And that's when we start to build again. So if we have enough protein, boom, no problem. We're going to replenish what we used. If we don't, we're going to steal from the other parts of our body. So say, for example, you had a really, really hard leg day. Now, and you ate 100 grams of protein, but you need 165 grams of protein, which is pretty common for a 200-pound athlete. So what happens is your body will say, I need some more amino acids. So it will go to other parts of the body that didn't train as hard or weren't utilized that day. So it might go to your chest. It'll pull amino acids from the chest and actually use them to repair the body. But we're still in a state of catabolism because we're not getting enough protein. So the next day you work out and you actually hammer your chest. Well, it's going to go, okay, we had 100 grams of protein. We still need 165 grams of protein today. So I'm going to steal the other 65 grams of protein from, say, your back. So it's going to go pull from the back. Your body will try and repair as best it can, but if you constantly keep in a state of catabolism, to build muscle and to actually get stronger is extremely difficult. Usually, if you're doing that, you're in a very drug-induced synthetic state. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today, guys. I hope that helps. We have more coming your way. Stay tuned.